Hello, hello.
Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Abby. We are your hosts. Welcome to the studio, the go to podcast for creators and entrepreneurs looking to monetize their passions and make money online. On today's episode, we got on a special guest. We have Chase here with us. Hey, Chase.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We are good. How are you?
I've been good. I've been good.
Chase is a young, successful business owner, entrepreneur, and content creator, making a huge impact online and teaching people how to create success too. So, Chase, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Okay, so basically, I started a service-based business when I was 18 years old, fresh out of high school. Right now, I am 20 years old. So I started it, and over these last 2 years, I've been able to scale it past six figures and create a sustainable income for myself, and kind of learn the tips and tricks of, making a successful service-based business and avoiding certain mistakes. And now, I am going forward and trying to create a more digital brand to that service-based business as well, to, try to bring in additional streams of income and try to diversify a little bit.
Okay. So now that it's 2023, 2023, I said 2020 tweet. Now that it's 2023, how are you thinking about diversing your income through different streams online? What plans do you have?
So when I did first start, I did start a YouTube channel because, I always heard the mistake that a lot of people don't record their come up, and then they are looking back and like, dang, I wish I just took a journey, like took recordings of everything I've done. And so I can document everything so people can really see what I did. And, I try to do that and try to get as much content as I can out so people could see a little bit what I did. So, in that time, I did build up a little bit of traction in my industry. I was specifically in the lawn care industry, and I was able to start gaining followers on my Instagram page and my YouTube channel for lawn care. And I had a lot of people messaging me with questions. So I was always answering questions for people who were messaging me about specific things that I may have not addressed in the YouTube video. And from there, I kind of just thought, a lot of people do message me, and I can't give people the time of day if, they're trying to go really in depth, because I, am running a business at the same time. I have stuff I have to do personally. And it's, a lot to just, sit there for hours messaging people with no compensation. So I was just, in the beginning, I just thought, maybe I could start coaching these people and take a little bit of time out of the weekend to do like coaching calls. And that's kind of where I did start, with making money from my social presence. And, going forward, I'm looking forward to, trying to make different ways where I can help people online, maybe making a course in the future to help, kind of build an income stream from online, but help, I would say, streamline the process of me being able to give this information.
Right.
Got it.
So, would you say like the main reason that you're expanding online is to help people answer their questions, or is it also like a personal motivation for it too?
Yeah, of course. I would say it's both, because obviously, working online and not having to have your time restrained is, a lot better than being out in the field with the guys. I don't have any hate about it, but, if I'm gonna pick or choose, I would rather work online. And
Right.
then also working online, it helps you get information to people instead of being so one-on-one. You can kind of streamline processes.
Yeah, definitely. And now that you've had that experience on both sides, being able to be more empathetic to where people are and their situation, of being able to help them grow, you've already been there. So the knowledge that you offer is almost like you're taking, I mentioned this before we actually hopped on the phone, what the importance of coaching is. It takes years off of somebody else's journey, or months, or however long it takes to do what you're talking about, because they invested time into themselves by investing into a coach and somebody that can help them grow what they're looking to. So, it's amazing that people actually are aligning with you, and that are, taking knowledge from you and growing from you. to be able to help themselves move forward, which is amazing. And in turn, turning that into something that can help other people on a wider scale is just going to do wonders, just from what we've seen in your personal story and knowing you. So
Yeah,
it'll definitely be incredible.
I also like how you mentioned that a big mistake people make is not recording the process and the come up. And I want to bring a point back to that, because a lot of people are always like, oh, I'll start making content when I'm successful, or I'll start posting YouTube when I have like a certain number of followers and then I can have subscribers or something. But it's actually true. People are interested in watching the come up, and that actually happened for you. So like what are some like ways that you shared the process of coming up with an audience? I know you said YouTube. Like, what did you do?
So in the very beginning, I actually was doing vlogs. I didn't do them every single day, but I was doing at least 2 to 3 a week. So people could constantly see the progress that I'm making, constantly see exactly what I'm changing, of what I'm specifically doing in my business. And I was able to talk to them more on a personal level, because every single other, like almost every other day, I was able to update them on what I'm doing, what I'm planning on doing. And it was, you could see the growth over time in my thought process and how much I was learning. So I did transfer into making more videos like weekly, where it was, I did work a little bit more on trying to make the content a little bit more professional and give a little bit more advice in those, instead of it being more daily driven and more of day to day what I'm physically doing, but more just the informational. So I just started, small, and then also posted on my Instagram. I started at the same time I started YouTube, I started Instagram, and I started basically going over what I'm doing just through my story post. And then the people who just followed me on my story just, I started to get, I would say, people who kind of stuck to my content. Even if it wasn't like, a million people, I still had like 10 people who were watching every video, messaging me about every video. So, I mean, as long as I know I'm helping someone, I think it's worth it.
Yeah, that's true. So it's interesting that you had those core people that were following you, and from that 10 people, your YouTube now is at like 10K subscribers, right?
Yeah, it's not at 10, it's not at 10K, it's at like 2,500. But I haven't uploaded in a while. I have taken a break for like almost the past 6 months from uploading a lot on YouTube. I have uploaded videos, but I haven't been up to date like how I was. I've been more active on Instagram recently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you see that content is more important than making money, or what are your thoughts
About
like
the content?
online, like creating content online versus making money online? Like, what are your thoughts when it comes to
I mean, I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. Like you create content online, and then you can gain subscribers or followers of people who kind of do align with what you're talking about. And say, like, for my core audience that I did have, it's easy, like, to say, if I was doing coaching calls, it's easier to sell them on coaching calls than it would be to sell a cold audience, or just to sell audience of people that I've never met, or people who just follow me and they just kind of have me on their following list, but they don't really pay attention to my content.
Right, because you're creating content in terms of, obviously being able to, help help your audience to move forward or provide entertainment, regardless of the fact. I mean, we do live in an age, I'm sure you've heard it, where it's an entertainment age now, where people are past the informative age and they're looking to be entertained. So whether that information comes through entertainment or not, I mean, your content is entertaining. So I can see why people are reaching out and messaging, probably because they're feeling like a personal like connection, through which would be, the importance of having a personal brand and why that is so important, regardless if you have a service-based industry where you're helping, you know, people with their lawn and providing a service. But I mean, regardless, beyond that, beyond grow, I mean, there's Chase Grant, and Chase Grant, you know, is an individual. He's an entrepreneur, he's a creator, he does what he has to do, and then, you know, through that is the avenues that come with that, and one of them happens to be grow, and now branching out into other portions. So I mean, having that ability, I mean, I'm sure you're seeing the importance of how a personal brand can really help now, because through when you're ready to start launching things like a course, you already have that warm audience. You already have people who are invested in you, who trust you. And when you throw something at them, it won't just come from nowhere. It'll be from a knowledgeable source, a reputation that they can trust, and what you've already done.
Yeah. And I do agree with that. And I like the fact that I am doing it in smaller stages. So I started out with being able to message everyone back, but when, you know, the messages became too much for me to handle on a day-to-day, then I can start selling coaching calls and just kind of scaling it up without me just, you know, right out of the gate, just going straight for it without having, you know, I would say a super warm, I would even call it like a super hot audience, where they feel like they know me more on a personal level. I agree with, you know, personal branding, and I think it's super important when you are trying to scale into anything, when it does require online businesses and like coaching on a personal level, so they can trust you.
Yeah, because it goes beyond the company regardless. You know, there is somebody that is in charge that created that, even if there's a team running that, and the person that is the head of that company is ultimately going to be the one speaking. And I mean, if values align, it just makes it easier for people to make that decision.
Yeah.
Would you say that the videos that you put out there that are more about like how, like more technical about the industry, would you say those were more successful or less successful than the ones that were like more vlog, like that you talk about, where it was you talking and you were the face of what was going on?
As much as I don't like it, the technical videos do not get as much views. The vlog style does get a lot more views. The personal touch, where they're seeing you more on day-to-day what you're doing physically on a day-to-day, they do get a lot more views. They are a lot more time consuming though. And is kind of why I did start going to Instagram, because it was easy to just upload day-to-day clips. So I can easily upload to my story rather than create a whole entire vlog.
Right. Yeah.
So that is kind of why I transferred over to Instagram to keep up with my main audience. And then I do upload videos on YouTube here to there. But it was for that exact reason, because I understand that people like that more entertainment or personal level a lot more. So I do try to keep that on my Instagram.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's literally where you see it playing in, where like companies, all kinds of companies in all kinds of industry, so they're realizing that there has to be like a face behind what's going on, because people are wanting to see like what's going on with you. Then they get attached to what your lifestyle is like and what your story is like, and then they start realizing, hey, I'm learning from this person too. And then that's where that trust comes in, and that's where you're talking about it turns into a warm audience. It's because you're putting your face out there and you're creating that content that's starting to connect with them. So would you give any advice to somebody who like they're overthinking what kind of content to put out? Because you said you were able to put out 3 videos and then sometimes daily or on the story. Some people, that's like a lot to them. So how do you make it seem worthwhile to yourself to where it doesn't feel like a big deal to create content?
I would say when it does come to like if you're talking about Instagram, because Instagram and YouTube are completely different. They're completely different strategies. But if you're talking about like Instagram, I wouldn't think too much about what needs to be on the story. It's more people just want to see what you're doing. So say, oh, if you may have, and this is not specific to any industry, this can be for anything. Maybe you have a SMMA business. If you just signed a new client or you have a client call, you can just, you know, put up your phone real quick and say, hey, I just closed this client through this advertisement method, just so people can understand how you're doing what you're doing and get on that more personal level so they can see you grow. It doesn't really take a lot of investment of time. You just have to kind of just put it in there. It takes like 30 seconds. So
Yeah.
it shouldn't really take time out of your day. Vlogging on the other end, it takes time to edit. That's the only thing. You're gonna add a little bit, like 30 minutes to an hour of work every day to edit if you wanted to vlog every day that you do vlog.
Right.
Yeah. But it's still important. So
I mean, if I was doing both of them in tandem, it would have a lot bigger impact.
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's been hard with me growing my business once, because at first I was, at a smaller stage where I was working, but I could handle everything. But then, I started blowing my business up, and then it started to become hard because I was still in the business, and now I learned how to get myself out of the business. So if I were to do it this time around, it would be a lot easier to do vlogs because I'm not as stressed out. That's my first thing.
Yeah. Right. And then, I mean, with social media, like you mentioned, I mean, the easiness of that, the quickness of it, you can always turn whatever you throw up on your story even into a reel later on.
Yeah, that's very true.
So depending on your workflow and what you're looking for, I mean, there's possibilities everywhere with I think what's important to look at too is like choosing your platforms. Like you're obviously very focused on Instagram and YouTube. And strengthening those so that you can be known there outside of your website, of course, and being able to have that social presence. Would you say?
I like how you said that you can throw something as a story and then repurpose the content for reels, because I actually just coincidentally just did that today. A story that I posted, I repurposed it to reels, put the captions in, put a little music with it, and just kind of repurposed it. So you can 100% do that.
Yes, repurposing content it makes things so much easier. And then also it's like what Nick was just saying about choosing your platform. You can choose your platform, put content in between it, like stories to reels, and then as you grow and get comfortable with that, then you start expanding into making fuller videos like YouTube content and things like that. Because I think a lot of people do get stuck in trying to create all kinds of content for all different kinds of platforms, and it burns them out or overwhelms them, or it gets too big in their head. But you are an example of somebody who had YouTube, you had Instagram, you stepped back, you're focused on Instagram, you're growing that, but you're also not going to let YouTube go away, but you're growing back into that in a different state. So I like how you're doing that, and that makes sense for people to take those steps and grow into their social media presence.
Yeah, 100% agree. And you can even repurpose like Instagram Reels to YouTube Shorts to keep growing your YouTube channel if you can't upload videos as much. And that's what I've been trying to do. I had to take a step back, like you said, and now I'm trying to get back onto YouTube to try to upload a lot more. Maybe just start uploading weekly or bi-weekly for right now, and then start getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah, definitely. It's like when we were speaking with another one of our guests on our podcast, we had spoken about the time that we're in right now and the season that it is, and that the new year happens during winter. And I find it interesting that right now, speaking on what you're talking about and growing into that, it's just like we're in a time of where, by this first quarter of the year ending, come into April, all the work and the culmination, the foundation of starting off slowly and growing into that. By the time April rolls around in like 90 days, I mean, the amount of content you will have produced that may not even be posted yet, that's on schedule to be posted, that puts you way far out ahead. That also has built you a brand where you're starting to gain recognition and followers and learn what is easiest for your workflow. Just like even going to the gym and not starting off too rough, starting off slowly, working into that and getting that habit. Because essentially, I mean, if you just start even putting out one video, like we were talking about, even bi-weekly, I mean, the amount of growth that you can come through in 3 months, the amount
Yeah.
of videos that you can put up on YouTube can surpass like probably over 80-90% of what people who have even attempted to try and do, just by giving yourself that chance to just start slow.
Yeah.
And just enter in calmly instead of feeling like you gotta like compensate or catch up or rush. Because you're exactly, posting as you should and not burn yourself out,
Yeah, and I actually about that, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that when it does come to like YouTube and Instagram, it may seem like when you upload a video and maybe your first video only gets like 10 views because you have no subscribers. The thing people need to realize is once you do start getting views, or if one video clicks, it will trickle down to every single video. So
Right.
if you have a list of videos that are, 100 videos deep, and then you upload the next one, and the next one hits 2 million, it's gonna trickle down to all the videos. If you really look deep into it, you never see a super, I would say, famous creator who has any bad videos. And I mean, they had to start somewhere. It's because it trickled down. And if you look at it, it just trickles all the way down. I had a video that I posted, my actual first video, and in like 3 months, the views were only to like 70 something. And remember, I was uploading consistently, and then just out of nowhere, now it's at 42,000 views. So I mean, it doesn't have to. You don't have to have instant gratification. It does come delayed a lot on social media. Same thing with Instagram. If you look at famous people, even their old pictures have a lot of likes. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same. It's the same game for Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true, especially with how the algorithm works now, too. And it's recirculating that old content, and you're starting to see things that people posted a while ago pop back up, and it makes you curious. So it's true. You never really know. You just keep on posting and keep that consistency, because any one of your things could blow up out of nowhere, and then it could help all of the videos that you posted in the past.
Yeah, that I think that's the most important thing, to not really overthink it and just try to get as much content and just keep improving your content. Because I honestly think if you just sit there and try to improve your content and try to provide more value, or really do think about how you're uploading your content, eventually it will click.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't, be a Logan Paul with 20 million followers, but maybe, you can get a couple thousand views, which can transfer to whatever maybe that you're doing. Maybe you have a agency, or maybe you're trying to sell a course. Eventually it will trickle down and help a lot.
Yeah. Yes. And those views turn to warm leads, which turns to clients. And that's exactly how you monetize online. So it really does, like, the combination of creating content online and making money, it like goes hand in hand. Like, it's going to come together in the end, because you're going to come up with ideas on how to monetize what you're doing, or people are going to be asking you so many questions and you're not going to be able to provide it for them anymore. So you're going to want to create something that they can subscribe to, or a course that they can learn from.
Yeah, monetize your knowledge. You have fun doing it, you have a passion for it.
Yeah.
Put it out there, because the part of entrepreneurship is being able to support each other, and that goes back to even before societal times were even made to this barter system we have now. It was just an exchange of services. So it's still that same type of thinking. We're still providing services and creating a living off of it too. What did you learn today with how content creators, there's like 48% of them do it full time?
Yeah.
And and the other 52% are still making a full-time living off of it, not doing it full time. So the availability of content creation, being able to create your personal brand off of that, and exponentially grow, and being able to offer your knowledge and your services and things that you've done in the past on your platform, and have control over that platform. I mean, regardless of what you're doing, it makes sense. It's a no-brainer to, you know, put yourself in that kind of position in the kind of economic system that the US,
the creator economy,
you know, especially the US is set up, and the major first world countries are, you know, and their economies, and it's just the way of the future, and something that'll be very large, you know, in the next 10-20 years.
Yeah. So what is your strategy for the year? Like, yes, you're going to be making YouTubes. You're on our podcast right now. Like, what's next for you?
So I am just trying to overall increase the level of content that I'm putting out, because I have a lot more free time in my business, and I'm not going to be as tied up because I simplified everything in my business, so now I can focus on the content side of my business. And it's just about really trying to up the levels of content that I'm putting out, and really be able to focus down on making sure I get out as much content as possible, because I feel like the more content you get out, the better it's just going to end up. I don't feel like more content's going to be worse for you.
Right.
So, I mean, I just want to keep uploading YouTube videos, keep uploading on my Instagrams, and kind of just funnel all these views, and trying to use the business that I already have, which is a service-based lawn care business, to maybe funnel it into a course and try to sell a course and let people know of the way I did grow my business and how I was able to simplify it to have as much time as I do, and basically show people the process that I did and the mistakes I learned, and how they can just, you know, basically take the fast lane and just basically do what I did in half the amount of time.
Yes.
And I did it pretty quick already, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be able to provide your knowledge. I'm sure it'll be a deal too, or it just would make sense for people to invest in themselves and to invest into you, especially with the streamline and the organization that you carry as a business owner. Definitely have a lot to offer, and the strengths that you've developed through that time.
Yeah, and I feel like that's important to organize, you know, content as well, because I feel like if you're just doing it, just, you know, just going at it, just uploading content whenever, that's when you do burn out. If you kind of structure it, it's a lot easier to not burn out. It makes it a lot more easy if you just say, okay, on Sunday, this is how I do. I do content Sundays, and that's where I would, you know, film a YouTube video or two that I'm doing, or film any reels that I'm gonna be uploading throughout the week. So I can kind of focus in like 4 hours, try to get all the content made for the week, and I don't have to worry about it all week. I can focus on whatever I'm doing for my businesses, and all I'm doing during the week is uploading stories.
Yes.
It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely consolidating your content days down into one day.
Do you do the creation and editing in the same day?
Yeah, I try to knock it all out in one day.
Very smart.
I'm not saying it, you know, only takes 4 hours for all the editing and everything, but the filming part for all the reels and all the videos, like if I was filming 2 YouTube videos to post this week and I want to make 6 reels, I can film all that within the span of 2 hours, and then I would take, you know, either 2 or 3 more hours to edit everything. Editing, you know, that takes a lot more time than filming it, but yes, the editing is what keeps the engagement there. So
right,
very crucial.
Do you have any tools that you recommend that creators use to edit for YouTube?
I haven't used everything, so I don't like to give a recommendation like, okay, this is what I preach by, but I use CapCut.
Okay.
I do CapCut and I pay for it. I'm pretty sure it's like $5 a month. And for me, it just seemed easier. I used to use iMovie, just the free software on Mac. And now I use CapCut, and I actually edit even my YouTube videos from my phone.
Nice.
So it doesn't matter where I am, I can be editing. And that's the reason I liked it, because it was easy to use it on your phone. So now I can edit anywhere. So it makes it a lot easier.
You can work between your phone and your laptop without having to transfer between like iMovie and right, or what's the workflow like between devices?
So I don't use iMovie at all anymore. I just only purely use CapCut, and I only have it on my phone because I don't even edit on my computer anymore because I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's not really for a specific reason. It's just, I liked how CapCut worked. It may be on the computer. I don't even know. To be honest, but it seemed easy enough to do it on my phone. So that's how I've been doing it recently. There'll be a phase when I start going through testing, trying to see what's the most efficient. But for me right now, it's just about trying to get content out there. Right. CapCut, I can make that engaging content on CapCut. And then, maybe in the future, if I start streamlining my content, maybe I can hire a content manager that can just manage all my content throughout all the platforms. And then, they're probably going to know a lot more about what specific,
right.
In software is.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if there is one piece of advice that you could give to somebody who's trying to expand out of what they're doing and start a brand online, what would you say to them?
I would say if you're trying to start a brand online, I would say niche down to what specifically you do want to do. So if you do have a specific industry, niche down to that industry, create a new Instagram. And you can even buy a used Instagram that someone already had followers on in that specific industry on different websites. But I would say either buy an Instagram account that already has engagement or create one and just upload reels. Reels are the way to get engagement right now. If you're talking about Instagram, if you're trying to really go at it, I would say it's a cheat code is you can create reels and upload those exact same reels to YouTube Shorts and TikTok. And now you're on 3 platforms with the exact same amount of content that you would have been uploading anyways. Yeah. That's the fastest way right now.
Perfect.
All right, cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's so like literally with the information of being able to do that, now you've just gone back into our conversation and just cut down like any excuse for somebody to be able to put themselves on any platforms and spread themselves out by duplicating through that hack that you just gave them.
Yeah.
Make it easy and make it streamlined.
Content cheat code.
Yep.
Yes.
And get a 4-hour work week.
Yep.
Awesome, Chase. Well, we are so thankful that you came on the show. You taught us a lot about how it's important to, take the questions that your audience is giving you and turn it into a way to not only add value, but monetize for yourself too. And now how to get yourself out there is putting that content out there and repurposing that content. And now people don't have any excuse anymore. They can keep moving forward. And we definitely want them to be able to find you. What are your socials and where can these people find you at?
Okay, so if you do want to be able to get a visual representation of what I'm talking about with the reels, you can go follow the business Instagram that I do have, that this is where I am implying these strategies. So you can see it, in person. It's at Grow Landscaping Services on Instagram. And then also my personal Instagram is The Chase Grant. So if you want to see what I'm doing in the works, you can go look at my business Instagram at Grow Landscaping Services. And then, my personal Instagram where I do just, give more content. It's more of my lifestyle. That's The Chase Grant. And then on YouTube, it's Chase Grant as well.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Well, it was awesome to have you on the podcast, Chase, and picking your mind and honestly getting to see the growth that you've gone through in your business as well, and watching you expand into this part of your journey. It's pretty neat.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us in the studio.